Hello everybody, how are you doing? I'm back from a weekend off, and some of you came to hang out with me in the live stream last night, and I'll be honest, it was kind of boring. Wasn't my best work, but hey, it was cool to hang out with you guys, and we're back on the road. We have work to do again, so anyway, here we go again. More work. I got a new phone, and I need to mess with it a little bit because it's all new to me, and I didn't put the little metal plate directly in the middle that holds it on the phone mount, so I'm gonna have to peel it off there and move it, but I'll do that later. But got the new phone, which I desperately needed because my old one was about to literally explode. The battery was expanding very rapidly on it when it would get hot, and it was time to let it go. So anyways, with all that said, we're gonna talk about lunatic truckers that are out there trying to kill themselves or kill everyone else, because I've seen a lot of that today. So we'll talk about that and whatever else we get into. I don't know, whatever you guys feel like talking about. But as always, I want to thank the people that were kind enough to send me some super thanks over the last couple videos. I was obviously off for the weekend, and so I wanted to make sure I get you guys. JD with $5, thank you JD, I appreciate your support to the channel. Joey also with $5, thank you Joey. I always want to make sure I mention the people that are kind enough to send some money. Stephen with $10, thank you Stephen, I appreciate you. Jeremy with $10, appreciate you Jeremy, thank you. And we've got Nitro Turtle who sent $25 on 2 different videos over the weekend to go towards my nicotine addiction, my Geek Bar fund. So thank you so much, Nitro Turtle. And Florida Jake, missed you in the live stream yesterday, but sent $50 on the last video. So thank you guys so much. And I just want to pat myself on the back a little bit and talk about how awesome I am. I'm just kidding. But if you guys saw on the community tab, I did make a donation of $200 to the Mike Rowe Works Foundation. I get the general premise of it, and it has to do with helping young people get into the trades, you know, the skilled labor type of jobs, and I think that's cool. So we were able to donate $200 to that. As I promised, I told you guys I would donate 10% of my YouTube earnings from here on out to some sort of charity, and I just want to maybe clear that up a little bit. There were a couple misconceptions. Somebody thought that I was saying, hey, send me money for watching my videos, you know, send a super thanks, send a super chat, whatever it is you want to do, and I will keep 90% of that and then give 10% away to charity. And the way they kind of worded it or understood it was that I was basically asking you guys to give me money for the purpose of keeping 90% for myself. The fact of the matter is I do earn a little bit of money on YouTube, and I was going to earn that anyways. Maybe not the crazy amount that I earned last month. I'll talk about that in a minute. But I wish people wouldn't turn like giving to charities into a negative somehow. That's not what I meant. I just meant whatever I earn from YouTube, I'm going to give 10% of that away from now on. Subject to change. Maybe I start, maybe my YouTube channel explodes and I become the most famous YouTuber in the world, and then I can afford to give away 50, 60, 70% because I don't, who needs that kind of money, right? Not me. But as of right now, that is how it's set up. And so I asked you guys from the charities that I was looking at last night, the ones I was considering, to pick one in the live stream, and it was an unofficial poll. I wasn't like keeping track or anything, but I think it was unanimously everyone that responded said to do the Mike Rowe Works Foundation. And the type of charities that I'm looking at is more along the lines of, you know, we did the World Literacy Foundation. That was only like $10. We did the Mike Rowe thing, and I'm looking at, I need to read more on it, but the Brandon Burlsworth Foundation, I watched the movie recently, Greater, was the movie called Greater, about Brandon Burlsworth, and his family has set up a foundation in his name that I believe it goes towards like helping, you know, younger children or maybe even high school age kids. As far as I understand it, I need to read it more, but helping them to get into, you know, organized team sports and things like that, which I think is good. But the things I want to look at is like, there's nothing wrong with team sports. That's a good thing, right? Or reading's a good thing. But especially those blue collar job type of things, I'm probably going to stay away from stuff that has to do with like college scholarships, but more like blue collar, you know, the people like us, right? Us truckers, the salt of the earth, the people that maybe we just give them a little bit of a leg up and see what they can do with it. Because if I know anything, guys like me, guys like probably most of you out there watching, if we just had a little bit of an opportunity, if we just had a little bit of help, we could really run with that. And yes, I'll get to the point of the fucking video when I get there. But I wanted to talk about all this charity stuff too. And the reason I wanted to bring it up was because some people had said, well, why not donate it to veterans, or why not donate it to St. Jude's for, you know, cancer research for children? And I think those are admirable charities. I think they are. But I'm going to stay away from those charities for the specific reason is this stuff with helping maybe young people just have a chance, you know, to maybe there's nothing wrong with them, like physically or mentally or whatever, but they don't know a way to maybe improve their life just a little bit. And to me, that matters. Because I go back to before I was a truck driver, I was an IT guy, and I didn't make a lot of money. I was a very lazy IT person. Now, I wasn't trying hard. I didn't get certifications. I didn't get college education. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, I didn't get the, what's that fucking word? What the fuck word am I looking for? College education. I didn't do that. But I was lucky enough to hear about the Workforce Investment Act, which I believe is more of a government program. But I basically was given a grant that allowed me to get my CDL, and that's what created Old This Guy Trucks. So those are the types of charities that are kind of closer to me. I'm not opposed to, like, I mean, I'm not angry at children with cancer or veterans. It's just I have certain ideas of charities that I'd like to donate the money we earn on this channel here. So with all that said, I hope that clears everything up on those charity events. I am back on the road, my friends, and today has been a wild fucking day already. So I thought I'd get on here and talk a little bit about that. Truckers that are just in a hurry, right? That are doing silly fucking things. For what? I don't know. Maybe they didn't manage their time. I'm not sure what's going on with a lot of truckers out there that got them so fired up. Me for the most part. Now, I'm not immune to like getting frustrated with traffic or being upset that maybe things aren't going my way, but I actually plan into my day that things are going to go wrong and things are going to get in my way. There's going to be, this time of year, there's going to be road construction. There's going to be all those assholes in RVs and pulling around campers, you know, those assholes. They're going to be all over the road. There's going to be a lot of things built into trucking that are just going to slow me down. Then you get into the winter months and you might have road closures, chain laws, all kinds of shit. And maybe you're just not willing to drive when the weather sucks. Sometimes I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to call it a day. I don't want to be driving in this bullshit. So the point I'm trying to make with that is I always build into my trips the fact that there is going to be something out there to fuck me up, that's going to slow me down. And it's a simple fact of life of being a truck driver. Something will always slow you down. What I had to do today, I got a very heavy load. I think we're about 43,000 pounds. And we had a mountain, quite a few mountains between where I started and where I'm going, right? And I guess maybe that's a thing that comes with experience. I don't know. I know where all the mountains are, so I know when I'm going to be slowed down just because of mountains. But on these particular mountains that I was on, this is something I talked about years ago in a video, because the first time I went through this particular area, truckers were doing some weird shit that I've never ever seen before, and they still do it. Now, I'm not gonna say that it's right or it's wrong. It's just bizarre. It's just a very strange thing. There's only one place in the country where I ever see this very strange thing done, and that place I'm talking about is right there on I-5 at Northern California, Southern Oregon. There's a big mountain there, right? There's a pretty big mountain there, and it is the only place in the country where I see truckers use the shoulder as a travel lane. Now, the shoulder is very wide, and it seems to be almost like an unspoken thing that we're all supposed to understand, that we use the shoulder if we're driving slower than everyone in that area. Now, me personally, some of you are going to get real mad at me right now, but that's just the way it is. Me personally, I have never ever used that shoulder as a travel lane in that part of the country. Now, a lot of people do, and I have been over it, I'd say now, maybe 100 times I've been over that mountain, right? And there's no signs up there that say slow trucks use the shoulder. It's not marked as a travel lane. For all intents and purposes, all I can tell is that it's just a fucking shoulder, right? I don't know when this started happening. It's probably something that's been done for a long time by truckers, is just getting over and using that shoulder as a travel lane. But like I said, some of y'all are just going to get mad at me, and you're going to have to get mad at me. That's just the way it goes. I do not use that shoulder. Like I said, as far as I can tell, it is not clearly marked as a travel lane. So I never ever use it. Now, do I get a lot of people like honking at me, blowing their air horn and scowling at me and flipping me off when I'm in that area? Yeah, I absolutely do. I absolutely do. And maybe I am the asshole, but in my experience, one of the huge reasons that I don't use that shoulder as a travel lane, has anybody noticed the quality of truck drivers these days? Yeah, listen to me. I'm a grumpy old trucker now that says, have you noticed the poor quality, the piss poor quality of truckers these days? You've got a trucker pulled over every few miles on the shoulder, taking his half-hour break or whatever the fuck it is he's doing. Now, I understand that sometimes trucks break down, but really not so often that every few miles we should see a truck parked on the shoulder. And that is one of the reasons I don't treat a shoulder anywhere as a travel lane. But I was coming up over that mountain today, right lane, flashers on, minding my business, moseying on up the mountain, just taking my time because I already knew that that mountain was going to slow me down. As of right now, I'm on track to be about 4 or 5 hours early to my delivery, because what else was I gonna do today? Just sit around all day? I figured I might as well get up and get to it, and we'll worry about it later. I'm hoping I can just roll in and they'll unload it and we can just call it a day. I don't fucking know yet, but I'm at least going to try. But because I knew I had a heavy load and that mountain is very large, even with a light load, it'd take you a while to go up over that mountain. It'll slow you down. I was just cruising, just having a good fucking time. And I'm watching as, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I don't see any clear signs, any kind of markings, any kind of indicators. Nothing up on that mountain says truckers use the shoulder as a travel lane. If I'm being fucking honest with you, I think a bunch of truckers just made it up at some point and they all started rolling with it. This is sort of the thing that I've always said kind of bothers me about trucking, is a trucker will hear or see something and then go, that's it, that's fact. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. It's this old monkey see, monkey do thing. And then we've got a bunch of truckers that are driving on the shoulder, using it as a travel lane, pissed off at everyone else that is not doing that. And I have to wonder, I don't know, but I have to wonder if I was driving down the shoulder, using it as a travel lane, would that get picked up on my outward facing camera at Swift and they'd call me and be like, hey, what's going on with you? Why are you driving on the shoulder? The fact is, though, I just don't use the shoulder to travel. Now, while I was just cruising in the right-hand lane, minding my business, flashers on, you know, rolling up the hill, just, you know, having a good time, I had at least 3 trucks come around me on the right-hand side, use the shoulder as a travel lane, and blow past me while I was just cruising up and down the road. Now, like I said, I'm not trying to convince you guys that I'm right in this situation. This is my perception of the situation, and I'm never ever going to use the shoulder as a fucking travel lane. Good thing we're not doing a every time he says travel lane take a shot drinking game, because y'all be drunk as shit right now, and that's not good, because a lot of you are truckers and we don't need you out there taking shots and driving down the road, right? We don't need all that. But I got the air horn blown at me by at least one of them. One guy was trying to pass me on the shoulder when we came to a part where the shoulder was too small for him to fit a truck there. And I gotta be honest, I'm not here to be a dick, and I'm certainly not here to get in an accident, but I didn't let up on him. I didn't back off and let him get in front of me, because he was still more than halfway down the side of my trailer before he ran out of room, which is another reason that I don't drive, you know, highway speeds on the shoulder, because the shoulders get smaller when you've got like guardrails for bridges and things like that. And he was behind me flashing his lights in my mirror like a fucking psychopath, like I was doing something wrong. And like I said, I did not let up on him. I didn't give him any room to get back over, nothing. He was driving on the shoulder. He was making that decision, and not me. I wasn't making that decision. But on that particular part of the mountain, it's just such a bizarre thing, because there's a lot of drivers that think it's the right way to do it, and I am far from the only driver up there that does not drive on the shoulder. So I'd be curious to hear your guys' opinions. Do you think, especially if you know that stretch of interstate, I-5 right there at Southern Oregon, Northern California, the shoulder is wide. It's very wide. I would like to hear your opinion. Do you think that shoulder is a travel lane, or do you agree with my point that at no point is a shoulder a travel lane? Now, keep in mind, we have conversations like adults on this channel. So if you're going off in a fury and you want to do some name calling because you disagree with my point of view, well, I'll kick your ass out the door and you can go fuck yourself. But if you want to give an opposing opinion, I am fine with that. But you just tell me what's going on. And then when you start coming off that mountain, when you start coming down that mountain, you always get the truckers that are just going hog wild off that motherfucker, right? That are just blowing down the fucking mountain, stomping on their brakes. A lot of times we can tell when a driver is pushing his brake pedal, and this is a stupid thing to point out maybe, because their brake lights come on their trailer. But there are a lot of trucks and trailers out there that sometimes just the engine brakes engaging cause the brake lights to come on also. That's the reason I'm pointing that out. We don't necessarily know that a guy's riding his brakes down the mountain, because he might not be. But we sure found out today that one driver was riding his brakes down the mountain when he got to the top and just decided to hammer down off that motherfucker, right? And he's fucking just going. He was just blowing down that fucking mountain. Well, I was heading south into California, and you know when you get towards the bottom of that mountain, there's that check station we got to pull into. It's like the what are they coming into California, like a produce check station? If you got produce, they may open up your trailer and inspect it and all that nonsense. But they just, you pull up there and they ask you what you're carrying, what do you got, what are you loaded with, or whatever, right? And you tell them, and then most of the time you just go on your way. Well, that guy went screaming into that motherfucker with brakes just smoking like a son of a bitch. Now, he kind of was trying to figure out what to do, because it actually, right there, the traffic cones force everybody off the interstate, off to the side of the interstate. And there are traffic cones there where the interstate continues, and signs that say trucks without brakes stay on the interstate. And he actually was in the left lane, and you could tell he was getting ready to just like he was, you know, turning the truck towards just blowing through those traffic cones and just going on down the road. But instead he made the decision to slam on his brakes even more, launching more smoke into the fucking atmosphere. And he did manage to get his truck stopped, and he pulled all the way to the right of that check station and stopped his truck and got out. It was so funny to me watching this guy. I think this is dangerous activity, that for one, but he did get the truck stopped. No one got hurt. It's fine. But when he was, you know, in front of me. When he gets out of his truck, he parks his truck and he gets out and he's just shaking his head and he's like confused about what happened. Well, silly, let me explain to you what happened. You decided that you were going to let gravity take over and just run your truck however the fuck it wanted. When you found out you were going too goddamn fast, you held onto your brake pedal for dear fucking life until you smoked your brakes. And that's what just happened. And what is going on with the quality of truck drivers these days? Are we not teaching this anymore? This was such a big deal when I was in truck driving school years and years ago at this point. And maybe I had the benefit of where I went to truck driving school, because I'm from Colorado, and they make a huge deal out there about the mountains and mountain driving. And as a matter of fact, part of even passing our CDL test was doing some mountain driving. That was part of it. But with the way trucks are set up now I know there's a lot of old school guys that really hate automatic trucks, and you're allowed to hate automatic trucks. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. Just don't yell at everyone else if they like their automatic truck. But with automatic trucks, you have to be going out of your fucking way to light your brakes up like that. You have to actually be stupid to get your brakes to smoke like that with an automatic truck. I understand how you could do it with a manual, because maybe you're trying to like shift gears or something and you can't get the fucking thing back in gear, and then you panic and then you're smashing the brake pedal. I understand how it can happen. It's never happened to me because I am the world's greatest trucker, but I understand how it could happen, right? In an automatic truck, the idea that you have lost control of your truck so bad that you have smoked your brakes now and you're at the bottom of the mountain wondering what the fuck just happened. I gotta be honest with you, if you're doing that, there's a couple things at play. You weren't paying attention in trucking school. You weren't paying attention when you were riding with your trainer around the country when they were telling you how to do these things. But most importantly, if you're doing that in an automatic truck, you're not fucking qualified to be a truck driver. You're a lost cause. Go find something else that you would be good at, because there's no fucking way you're out there smoking your brakes in a fucking automatic. That doesn't even make sense. The goddamn thing's always in gear. The jakes are amazing on these fucking trucks anymore, not like some weak ass jakes. The jakes are fucking amazing. And if you really need to, you can stomp on that gas pedal, not like stomp on it, not the gas pedal. Jesus Christ, I just got someone killed because I wasn't paying attention to what I was saying. But push that brake pedal real hard, right? You got your jakes turned on. Push that brake pedal real hard, and that truck's gonna downshift automatically. And when the truck downshifts automatically, let off the brake pedal, and now those jakes are gonna be fucking screaming. Those jakes are gonna be slowing your truck down like a motherfucker because you just downshifted. You didn't, the truck did, and now everything is fantastic. The truck is completely under control again, and you're going to be just fucking fine. You're going to be just fine. But goddamn, if these new truckers haven't turned me into a grumpy ass old trucker that just says shit I swore to God I would never say, what in the fuck is going on with the new truckers these days? What are you guys doing? This is embarrassing. This is an embarrassment to all of us. You can't come off a mountain in an automatic truck without smoking your fucking brakes because you were in so much of a goddamn hurry you just decided that it'd be just fine. No, goddammit, you guys know me, I bullshit on the internet. I talk a whole lot of shit, right? But there is a time to take your job seriously. And that's when you're loaded coming off a fucking mountain in a panic, stomping on your brake pedal. Actually, I'm wrong. That's not the time to take it seriously. Months ago, when somebody was trying to teach you how to do it right, that was when you needed to take it seriously. What the fuck is going on out here? I have seen more drivers with smoke billowing out of their fucking brakes over the last year than I have seen in my entire fucking career. And somebody out there is just not fucking paying attention. A lot of people out there are just not paying attention to what is going on out there. And quite frankly, it's starting to piss me off. You're making us all look like jackasses out here because you don't know how to drive a fucking truck. We as truckers have actually done a really good job of fixing our reputation so people don't think we're a bunch of fucking psychopaths out there trying to kill their whole damn families with our truck. And we really have. Because there used to be a time where truckers were doing stupid shit. You know, I did an old video on the statistics, like truckers in the 70s and 80s. I'm sorry, be mad if you want, but those were some dangerous motherfuckers. Those guys were wrecking trucks. They were plowing through families. They were doing all kinds of shit. And there's actual historical data to support what I just said. Then you start getting into the 90s, the 2000s, stuff like that. Then we've got all these goofy safety features on the truck. We've got outward-facing cameras. We've got electronic logging devices. All these things that we swore wouldn't make trucking safer. I'm sorry, they did. They actually fucking did. But now we've got a whole new breed of fucking knuckleheads that are finding ways to be fucking lunatics in their trucks, even with all these safety devices in the trucks. And that's even worse. That's even worse. Back in the 70s and 80s when they were killing families fucking on a daily basis, well, you could at least say at least the trucks weren't packed full of fucking safety devices and equipment that would prevent all this. Now we've got no excuse, dummies. We've got no fucking excuse. Some of y'all need to just stop. Some of y'all, look, we've got too many truck drivers right now as it is. Those of you that like suck at trucking just need to like take a look at yourself. Just a long, hard look at yourself, swallow your pride, and go, you know what? I actually kind of suck at this. Maybe I'll go be a forklift operator or something. Or go to the Micro Foundation and see if maybe they can help you. I don't know. I would say become an electrician, but that sounds real fucking dangerous for all of us. Something. Just figure something else out. Because this is getting out of hand. Anyways, I got to get back on the road. I'm starving. I got to go get me some food. So I'm going to get this video edited on the new phone. That might take me a little while too. Anyways, bye now.